Welcome in, guys. We are back at it. Uh,
What's going on? Hello, YouTube, ladies and
mm,
gentlemen.
Thank you all
All
for tuning in. While Dodgers and Blue Jays, Blue Jays, Toronto are going at it at the moment. We know there is so much overlap within this community between the two things, and all y'all watching from the future. Yes, we knew the Dodgers were going to win. Yes, yeah, we understood this. Seeing into the future. So, anyways, we're not
right.
here to talk
Have
about
fun.
the classic Yaku.
Have fun watching the Shohei Otani show
Hmm.
featuring the Dodgers,
Featuring his
the Los Angeles
two
Dodgers.
other Nihongo brothers on the team.
Yeah.
We're gonna have an all Japanese team very shortly, along with Mookie Betts and maybe Freddie Freeman. But
Mm,
anyways, y'all didn't come here for that. Y'all came here for this anime. All right.
Well, hang on before we get into that.
Oh yeah,
Go ahead. And
yeah.
what's your name?
This guy, Josiah. How about
And
you?
my name is Austin, and we are the
Super Cinema Brother.
I don't know if any of that's coming through,
Oh, it
but
was just
yes,
all
we
cut
are the
out.
Super Cinema Bros.
Mhm.
Um, on Discord, sometimes certain sounds it'll just block out. So if I'm
Oh,
whistling or if I'm coughing, you won't hear it.
unfortunately, I didn't hear the whistle, but we
Yeah, I
we
wasn't
can we
really
can
whistling.
play
I
it
was like
back.
doing like a sizzling sound, like a tss. That's
Yeah,
okay. We are the Super Cinema Bros. Thank you for joining us. Uh, which movie do we have on the docket this evening, Josiah?
must have cut mine out too. Yeah, we've got Chainsaw Man, the movie, Reze Arc.
All
So
right.
look, anime film. We got a back to back. Well, almost. I'll say there's a back-to-back element in here. I won't spoil it too much, but just a few weeks ago we had Infinity Castle, fantastic film. Now we have Chainsaw Man, just released this past weekend. I don't know any stats on how well this movie did overseas. Hope it did well for the series because don't you know it? All the One Punch Man fans are dying at the moment. So if we want to stop that unfortunate, spiritual death of all our anime brothers, we got to get them injected with a new anime film like this. Brought to us by Studio Mappa and a bunch of other helpers. I'm very excited to have gone to see this. What do you think about this movie, Austin? Without
Well, well,
oh,
first, allow me to provide a spoiler-free synopsis of the film.
go ahead.
We'll do that first, and then we'll get into our broad assessment, initial feelings of the film.
Why do you want
I
this
was able
review to
to
make
use.
sense, Austin? What are you doing? Why are you setting us up to make sense?
Let me just let me just read this thing I got off Claude. So yeah, it actually gave a fairly good synopsis. So let me just read that synopsis, and then we'll jump right into it. All right. So Chainsaw Man, the movie, Reze Arc, is a dark fantasy action film produced by Mappa and directed by Tatsuya Yoshihara. The film serves as a direct sequel to the first season of the anime series, adapting the manga's Reze arc. After a previous battle, protagonist Denji receives a new temporary partner and goes on a date with his enigmatic superior, Makima,
I did
who
not realize she
reassures
was
him.
superior, but sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
Enigmatic superior. So if you watch
Oh,
the
the
first
boss,
season,
his boss. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, his boss, his organizational
yeah,
professional superior,
yeah.
Makima, who reassures him about his humanity. During a routine patrol, Denji takes shelter from a storm and meets Reze in a phone booth. a friendly cafe worker who seems to take romantic interest in him. As their relationship blossoms through shared moments and conversations, Denji finds himself conflicted between his growing feelings for Reze and his complicated attraction to Makima. Meanwhile, Denji's colleague, Aki, is paired with a new partner, the apathetic Angel Devil, as they prepare for an important mission. As the story unfolds, new threats emerge that will challenge Denji and his allies in spectacular, high stakes battles that test their loyalties and survival. And based on this, it was released in Japan on September 19th, and internationally through Crunchyroll. The film grossed 108.8 million worldwide and received positive reviews for its stunning animation, intense action sequences, and emotional storytelling. And we can get into that as we go through this review. But yeah, that is the story. That is the spoiler-free story. I'm gonna go ahead and say from this point on, it'll be spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Wait, you don't want to let the fans, potential fans, know without spoilers if they should go check this out? Is it worth their time at all?
I can, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say spoiler alert now. If I end up going through something that kind of spoils something, I
Yeah.
don't want there to be any hard feelings from the viewers if they were expecting a spoiler-free review. I'm gonna try my best to keep it as spoiler-free before we really get into the meat and bones of things. But I'll just go ahead and call it now, spoiler alert. And then, if anything gets spoiled, well, then you've been given ample warning.
Mhm.
All right. So, I mean, we're not going to get into it just yet. Let's give our opening thoughts on the film, and then we can kind of dive into what we liked and didn't like. So, you were asking me my thoughts on the film. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I liked the animation, and I liked the color palette, especially in certain scenes. I liked the fantastical nature of everything. And actually, more than that, I think as my cinematic tastes kind of refine over time, I like some of the smaller moments, particularly between Dingy and Makima, and then Dingy and Reze.
Mhm.
Uh, Now it's a little weird because Dingy's like 16 years old and he's dealing with grown women.
Oh, is Reze? I know Makima is for sure, but
Makima's an adult.
is she though?
We're
Yeah,
not exactly sure what Reze's assumed age is. They don't actually tell us,
it's true.
um, so make of that what you will.
Yeah,
This is Japan. Sometimes they play
it
fast and
feels
loose.
It feels like they're similar in age though. It feels like that,
Yeah.
but we'll get into more of that in our spoilers.
Okay. So if you watch the anime series, you know that Denji kind of grew up secluded, kind of as an orphan, and he didn't really go to school. He just spent his whole life, like fighting demons or whatever. And so uh, he doesn't meet a kindred flame per se, but he meets someone that takes an interest in him initially and is willing to engage with him at his level. So there's that.
Okay,
And what I
yeah,
enjoyed about it, I think honestly, I think the music goes a long way to kind of creating the vibe and the atmosphere and the ambiance of those scenes.
totally.
So whoever did the score, whoever did the music, I think did a good job. I don't want to go so far as to say that it feels art house, but it does kind of feel like there's kind of an ethereal
Hmm.
ambiance,
Hmm.
aesthetic vibe for some of the scenes. And when that's done well and non-pretentiously, I really tend to enjoy it. And I found myself enjoying it in these scenes.
Hmm.
And there's a little bit of humor. This movie and Chainsaw Man in general employs a certain type of humor, and it's very Japanese. So sometimes it's very, very on the nose in a way that's like super over the top obvious.
Hmm.
And sometimes there's a little bit of subtlety to it. It's overall, I found it to be a good fit for the overall feel of the movie. And yeah, even endearing in some odd ways. Uh, but overall, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. It's an anime movie, so there's a conclusion that they really need to get to, and they do.
Mhm, mhm.
Now, in this case, I think they picked this arc to make a movie because this is the kind of arc that's probably a little bit shorter, and it lends itself to getting to that point really quickly. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's probably, if we're gonna make a movie based on an arc, this was probably a really good one to do so. And I feel like it was done really well as far as the pacing and the tone and everything was going. I like the character interactions. I like the conversations that are taking place. Actually, the conversations, well, let me say, what I'll say is that Denji is the protagonist. He's the chief character, and Chainsaw Man in general has a wide assortment of really appealing and interesting B characters. And I think that's one of the big strengths of Chainsaw Man. His colleagues, Aki in particular. He's the sword guy with the man bun, right?
Yeah.
I actually really like his character, and I liked his character in this movie.
Mhm.
And he's in a constant state of like existential dread. He's kind of like the Sasuke character in this version, in this
Yeah,
iteration
yeah.
of shonen manga turn movie.
So
And
who should go and see this film in theaters?
I think if you like Chainsaw Man, this is a solid movie. If you want to see a direct
Double down on
continuation,
that.
first season, if you're just
Mhm.
curious about anime and you're willing to deal with a little bit of fan service, uh, then yeah, you should check this out. If you're just
Almost a little more than fan service, but yeah, yeah, for this day and
uh,
age, it's kind of a little bit kind of compared to most
okay,
anime.
maybe
It's compared to like the whole
maybe more than
umbrella
a
of
little
anime.
bit.
Not as much fan service as there could be. Compared for someone that's not into anime, yeah, it may be a little momentarily shocking, but potentially done in a more tasteful way than standard for anime.
The fan service is in some ways done as a way of humor because that's very like Japanese is very shonen, is very manga. Just think like harem no jutsu in Naruto or something like that. Or just the endless fan service in One Piece, women with gigantic double D's, like that's it's not that is it that egregious? It is and it isn't. Mm,
Yeah,
So
we'll
in
explain
Japan,
that a little bit more in a minute. But yeah,
yeah.
oh
So
yeah, no, you can
I'll
explain
just
the Japanese perspective. Yeah,
I'll just quickly say in Japan, there's a whole subsection of modeling called gravure, I'm not sure how it's pronounced or what
don't even know.
English word they're borrowing from, but gravure, gravure modeling, which is like inching its way from just regular modeling, and it's definitely regular modeling, but it's a little more risque, and
Yeah,
it's essentially it's essentially inching its way towards softcore, but it never quite gets there. That's basically what it is,
I think
and
it
a lot of
is.
people get their start.
Yeah,
A lot of artists, actors, singers, whatever, they kinda get their start that way because that's just the on-ramp and the entertainment industry, broadly speaking, for women in Japan, and I'm not gonna give commentary on that, but that's just what it is, and
yeah,
so,
yeah.
they have grab your models, grabber I think it's grab your models, and then, like, they kinda start and they start off by having, like, the little video series where it just shows them modeling somewhat risque poses, and then they make their way to the variety show circuit, and then they make their way into, like, to a series or to a movie or to making music, and that's just kind of the track that a lot of people go on. Okay, so the fan service is kind of at that level, is what I'm trying to say. So make of that what you will. Yeah, but overall, like I think it's a good anime movie, and if you just like anime movies and you like anime spectacle, you like Sakuga, like really well animated scenes, then I think you're gonna be really satisfied with this movie.
Mhm.
And so for
Yeah,
anybody who falls into those categories, um, I think this movie is for you.
yeah, yeah, and it's best watched. Obviously, haven't seen the first season of the series. That said, it's not like it's deep enough into the series that you couldn't jump in and have somewhat of an understanding of what's going on after just like putting together a few connections. So it is possible to watch it without having seen the rest of the series, but yeah. Um yeah, definitely close to the shonen, although yeah, there are a little bit of contemplative moments here and there, touching moments, emotional moments. So yeah. I don't know if I recommend this one necessarily as much as like Mugen Train or Infinity Castle, but yeah, still well done. If you already like anime, why not give it a shot? You most likely
Yeah,
have seen some of Chainsaw Man, and at the very worst, go watch like the first episode, and then go see the movie if you liked the episode.
right. Also, if you like Jujutsu Kaisen, you'll like this movie.
Fantastic, yeah.
We'll get into that later. Yeah, like
Yeah,
if you like
yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm not. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. If you like Jujutsu Kaisen, they're both animated and produced by Mappa. Um, like Mappa is kind of like the A24 of anime studios right now. So I'll just leave it at that. And that's not even
Yeah.
necessarily a bad thing. It's just, but it's. I think it's very much the case. So
Mm.
yeah. How about you, Josiah? What did you think about the movie, kind of broadly speaking?
Thought it was a cool movie. Enjoyable to watch. That said, I did view it on IMAX screen, sitting a little bit too close, I think,
Uh,
and in connection with it, me sitting a little bit too close. The audio, I think was like just like pumped up way louder than it probably needed to, but been. So it kind of was in reflection, a little bit of an overwhelming experience. Very akin to like when I watched what was it? Not Warfare, Civil War. When I saw Civil War like a year and a half ago or so, again, maybe it was the theater, a little bit too close, way too loud. Still was able to get through it, and still thought it was a fun time. My wife and I actually just watched basically all of the first season, like in the day or two before, and excited to go check this out. One last thing I'll tack on. Austin wound up bringing up like there's a specific type of humor that the series has. I think in addition to the humor, there's a specific type of tone between the seriousness and like violence that transpires within the series. I think if that doesn't necessarily jive with you from like even the first episode, then you may not, this isn't for you. But yeah, cool. It was cool. I was glad
yeah,
to have another movie in theaters, and this is exactly what we were talking about when we were, reflecting on Mugen Train and Infinity Castle. Like the studio's taking an arc and making a whole anime out of it, so that hopefully they make more money to bolster the crazy animation system they have over there in Japan. I brought up One Punch Man a little bit earlier, and it sounds like finances and stuff like that have contributed quite a bit to the the quality of this third season, and some of the complaints. So love it when a studio hopefully gets more money to then, I don't know, give their artists realistic time frames and deadlines and all that kind of stuff. Will that happen? Does that happen? I don't know. Hopefully though.
right. Okay, so let's get into what we liked about. I mean, I kind of mentioned things
You
I
did.
like about it.
You did for sure. And one thing I guess I'll jump off into regarding that is you were kind of describing the tone of the film being a little bit different uh, than even the series. Like it felt like it presented itself in a potentially more theatrical way and allowed itself to explore some feelings and relationships and depictions in a more, like you said, art house, artistic kind of way. And it made me think there are a few things in that realm that remind me of like a Makoto Shinkai film, like Weathering with You, or
Yeah,
Suzume or
yeah,
something. Hmm.
yeah. I think it did have that vibe in a way that that the Demon Slayer movies don't have. Demon
No,
Slayers are a
no.
lot more straightforward in their storytelling and their conveying of emotions.
Hmm.
And this is, like I said, it's very kind of like A24's. It's kind of like, Smashing Machine. It's just kind of just ethereal, kind of like Drive, like one of those movies.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, even the first season of
so yeah,
Chainsaw Man didn't really have that. There were a couple moments, maybe here and there during like training or something, where it became a little more, I don't know, ethereal or
yeah.
complaint.
I I felt like the
Yeah,
first season was trying to just be more on like kind of be more edgy. This is not an anime for children. Children should not be watching this. This is not for children. This
yeah.
is an adult way. It's not pornographic in that regard,
Hmm.
but I mean, again, it
It
edges kind of
almost
grab
is.
your
It almost
leading
is.
up to almost kind of sort of. I mean, it does have some like nudity, but they go out of the way to like not draw like nipples and stuff like that.
But that's
And
like
they
the
don't
only
show
thing, just about.
they don't
It's like
show direct.
seeing it's like seeing someone naked in front of you, except you just like wiped away one or two little pieces.
Yeah, like they
It's
air
pretty
like
much nudity
change.
anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they
like
don't
Sailor
expose.
Moon, like during the transformation, Except,
Yeah, it's kind of
you're
like that.
hanging on
So
the transformation for a long time. So you see like all the curves and all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they don't show any genitals, thankfully. They don't do anything like that. Um, but and so Japan and Japanese culture has a somewhat different relationship with nudity and the portrayal
Hmm.
of nudity than
Yeah.
we do in the West. So that's part of it. Oh my gosh. I get a thumbs up for that. Okay. That's oh my gosh. All
Look,
right.
he doesn't know
So
how to pronounce it. He obviously does not partake in it. Look,
yeah,
this is
it,
accidental thumbs up from Claude, doing him in.
yeah, or whatever. Yeah, this is
Siri.
yeah, I'm doing this on a MacBook, right? So
Hmm.
Japan has a slightly different relationship, even to like sexuality and the portrayal of it.
Yeah.
And as romantic as things get, it's like romantic almost in like a non-sexual way. Like it's almost
Yeah.
there's like this weird kind of like I'm putting this in air quotes innocence. It's not. Oh God, it's not actual innocence, but it's just a Japanese idiosyncratic
Yeah.
way of like portraying either nudity or romance. Because like the most romantic scene was fully clothed. Now that scene became very unromantic. Uh,
Very
I'm talking
shortly.
about
Yeah.
the fireworks scene,
Hanabi
but
scene. Yeah.
that scene was totally clothed. They go skinny dipping in a pool, right? And that's more about them like connecting on an emotional level and not a physical level, even though they're both naked in a pool. That's what I'm saying. In an American
They
movie,
barely
that
held
would
back.
that yeah, I mean, but again, it wasn't it was nudity, but it wasn't sexual because like that's not the point of that scene. It would very
Okay.
much be the point of that scene if an American were making that from a Western standpoint. Like that would have been the get it on scene. They would have started smashing in the
Mhm.
pool. That's the
Okay.
difference. That's just the way it is. And so make of that what you will.
It's yeah, it's implied honestly. That said, it's not official because okay, look, if you listen to Chainsaw Man already, or if you're not familiar with Chainsaw Man, the main character's drive on the superficial level is just to have physical relations with women. Uh in in particular with his boss.
My
All right, Makino. But then he also is like tempted and comes across other women along the way that
right.
he's like my body's taken over and like almost pathetically allows it to happen. Now, realistic, yeah, potentially. That said, let me put in maybe the most straightforward clarification when it comes to this. so we can kind of put it to the side. Hopefully, Japanese shonen manga, even from age like 6 to 12, which is like Shonen Jump, Dragon Ball, One Piece, all that stuff. It they're willing to have entire series about like ogling at women and their bodies, and you know a main boy character wanting to do something with them. And Chainsaw Man even goes the distance of showing him like fully fondling the characters in the series, like he's wanting to grab
Yeah.
boobs and all that stuff. So it's like Japan has this kind of bizarre guise of allowing themselves to go there, but almost trying to give an excuse of it, being more innocent when, I mean, the bottom line, it's not fully that more innocent. It's just a little bit more disguised, but then it's not, and then it's yeah. So,
Right.
anyways, the
Yeah.
the one
My
last
only
thing
point.
I'll say, well, yeah,
All
the
right.
last thing I'll say about the movie in particular is there is the nudity with the pool, and then once the character like transforms fully unclothed from the backside, and they wind up showing it basically all the time.
Right. So yeah, what I would say is it's like my only point in saying that is like with the pool scene is that like it wasn't primarily there's a sexual component to it obviously, but it's not primarily that wasn't the primary message that was being portrayed in that scene. That was about like connection and a shared experience, and she's teaching him how to swim because he's never swam before, and it's just that kind of thing.
Which I
There
didn't
definitely
get.
is like
I
a
didn't get in the scene until afterwards when they talk about it at some point. I
yeah, I
didn't. I
mean
didn't
they didn't
realize.
show
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so I mean, okay. So yeah, I mean, Japan is this is very idiosyncratically Japan. I think that's the best way to put it. And it would likely be handled very differently in the West.
Hmm.
And so I'll just leaving that. eh, I think that's all I need to say on that.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Um,
they do this
okay,
whole. They didn't literally show it. Maybe it didn't happen. Denji has this. Yeah. He has his new goal is to wind up sleeping with Makino or whatever. So technically, it doesn't happen here, but we
I, I,
all know
I
it
I mean,
basically happens.
so I mean, he says he wants her to be his girlfriend, and yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, that entails obvious things. So okay, um, in this movie, yeah, I mean, he mentions it, and as part of his conflict, between his burgeoning feelings for Reze and his established feelings for Makima. Okay, so that's part of the movie. Um, okay, so we're going back. You were saying these are things that you liked. Is there anything else that you liked? I kind of already mentioned things that I like.
Yeah, the animation predominantly is done pretty well. I already did mention I think I was potentially too close to the screen. There are quite a few scenes that were a little bit difficult to watch, especially once it gets deep into the fighting and that like last third of the movie, especially or half of the film. Um, I think it is very impressive in what they're able to do and their understanding of physical space and creating special effects and have like rain on top of explosions, on top of things breaking apart, on top of hurricane, on top of like a million characters and glass shattering. Like it's incredible how much they're able to juggle in this film and make it overall readable, and I'm sure even more readable from like a better viewing distance. um but yeah, I think my favorite thing is was the relationship between Denji and Reze, and yeah, the some of the conversations that the characters have with each other. Action does look really good, stylish, effective, but I think the film ultimately like is made or broken on whether you buy into Denji's relationship, um, and what you feel about that. Because I think if you don't, honestly, a lot of the movie might just kind of just be relegated to just action film, uh, for a viewer. Yeah, but yeah, besides that, yeah, like you mentioned, music was cool. I think it really did something for the film. It knew it knew how to slow down. It knew how to take moments and let the moments kind of like breathe and be and have the characters and the audience present within those moments. But it also knows how to like turn things up and get into high action. It's possible that a viewer might want even more action, but I've never read that section of the manga. I don't know if they like trim things down or like streamline things down to fit into a film. Because yeah, like from the outside, it does feel shorter. That said, even the first season of Chainsaw Man isn't a whole lot that transpires, and when it really comes down to it, that's only maybe what's like 12 episodes. So, well, that's like almost what 4 hours. Yeah, it's maybe like 4 hours of runtime. So it's potentially what like double the length of this. So this is
Yeah,
pretty much yeah half the length of. I don't know if the first season is considered a whole arc or not. I think probably.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised by that when we watched it. It didn't almost feel like it was enough to be an arc, but it's fine. At least for the the,
Yeah,
the first season. This
I'm guessing
yeah.
this is a short
Mhm.
arc. Yeah.
Yeah, the
So I'm guessing that was
movie
part of.
is a short arc, yeah, but even the first season, like the amount of stuff that happens didn't feel almost enough to be like a full arc, but I guess it was.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like it was like they told a good chunk of the story, and they left enough to be explored further. So they ended it on a. They ended it at a good point for the first season. So
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, in general, I agree with your positives. I don't have. I mean, I don't have a whole lot more to add with regards to the positives. I think you kind of covered them. Um, I mean, I thought the voice acting was good. I thought that again, I like the color palette. I thought it told an interesting story overall, and
Definitely. There is something there that is very relatable, and is a part of like growing up, which Denji effectively is, because he's effectively
right,
like was stunted, didn't grow in a number of areas, and the series is really seeing him like grow and almost experience what it's like to be potentially a
right,
normal person
mhm,
on some level. So I like that he goes from having like almost like a trivial goal, which he does call out. He in the first season, he's like, everyone's thinks their goal is better than mine just because it's X, Y, or Z. And it does make one think for a moment, like, yeah, why? Just because someone has the goal to, I don't know, like get revenge on a demon, like why is that specifically better than his simple goal? And so I think that's one of the strengths and like one of the quirky strengths of the series. Like his goal
yeah,
on a surface level seems kind of stupid, but then it does wind up having a deeper element to it that
yeah,
much like I don't know, Goku or Luffy or something like that, the character himself doesn't understand that there's something deeper happening, but there is, I think interestingly enough, something deeper happening.
right. It kind of epitomizes a materialistic, kind of humanistic view of the world, while also at the same time challenging and contradicting it,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
he is deriving meaning from things,
Mm-hmm.
meaning
Yeah.
that itself is not justified in a materialistic, humanistic, you know, um, secular worldview, I guess you would say.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so that's interesting.
Yeah, and he's struggling with his like drives, his like desires. He's finding conflict even within that. Like life was maybe a little bit simpler for him on some level, where now he's finally getting attention, and now he's like wants Makino to be his girlfriend, but then I guess had never experienced that, let alone the possibility of, oh, I could actually fall for somebody else potentially.
Right. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, even throughout the series, like you said, like the series challenges from a materialistic worldview, from a from a non-theistic worldview, even though this world exists with angels and demons and things that are, commonly associated with a spiritual worldview or a deistic worldview. He challenges like, how is it that your goals are any more or less arbitrary than mine's are?
Yeah. Mhm.
Now, I don't think he necessarily goes too deep in this particular movie with that specific uh existential pondering, but it is consistent with what you see at least in the first season of the anime. So,
Yeah.
um it's kind of tonally and thematically either complementary, if not outright consistent in its execution. So, I thought that was interesting. I wasn't thinking about that when I was watching that first, but now that you say that, I was like, yeah, that's I think it speaks to Tatsuki Fujimoto, that's the name of the mangaka.
I'd
Just
have
kind of
to
his
double check it,
yeah,
probably.
his strength in storytelling and in narrative building. I think he does a good job.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm. Oh, real quick, look. Hey, Janelle, thanks for commenting. They said she said, I like how Beam, the shark beam, always had his back and matched his chaos. You know what? Look, uh Beam had not won me over when he was introduced in like episode 11. I like sharks. I think he was cool, but yeah, how he winds up just, yeah, as they say, being like a complete like ride and die friend for Denji in this movie, like really raised my appreciation for that character.
yeah, that's a thing in anime where like there's a main character and there's a character that's a total sycophant for that character, and
Hmm.
that character just gets dogged out all the time and talked
Hmm.
down to and insulted and go away, but yet they just remain resolute in their devotion and commitment to the main character or the main
Hmm.
antagonist, whoever the character that they're latched onto,
Yeah,
like no matter what. And that just seems to be
totally
a
is a trope.
thing in
Yeah.
Japanese, particularly in manga storytelling.
Hmm.
It's like you talk that crazy to me, I'm not your friend anymore, and I'm not riding with you at all. I don't understand that
Fair,
personally.
fair. Yeah,
Um, the way that I'm built. You dog me out after I'm like nice to you, no, then yeah, this manga
yeah.
just became about contact. Like I'm done with you. I'm kind of
Yeah, you
zero
know.
sum, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's fair.
What
That's
I mean
fair.
is either rock with you or I really don't rock with you, and that's
Yeah.
just true of me in general. And so when a character is consistently getting like berated and talked down to, but at the same time they're like a huge fan of this one character and they just take all this abuse. I I don't understand that. I'm not that way. That doesn't
Sure, sure.
register with me, but somehow the character still works he's still a really compelling B
Yeah,
character.
yeah, and I think it's because, okay, so initially Dingy wants nothing to do with them, and like, yeah, first interaction with them, he just, yeah, totally trashes him, causes Beam to go turn around, sit down, and like mope on the ground. Even we find that he's like, paired up with them, following him around every now and then. There's a couple times. I think one time Dingy was like in an alleyway, and it started to rain, and Beam got all excited, and he like yelled at him basically to hide back. So
Yeah.
I think it only works because, one, Denji himself is an idiot, and he doesn't like. One could almost see that he doesn't fully understand the things that he's saying. Uh, and he was treated that way before, so you're like, oh man, you shouldn't be treating other people that way. That's part of his idiocy, but it does change. Yeah, they wind up connecting, I guess, in like the most important moments of like being there for him. And I think Denji does actually have a change in perspective and attitude towards him. So if it were a character that was like completely adult or fully mature, like talking down to somebody like that, yeah, I don't think it would work nearly as much as this. Like, I don't think you could get away with it when it's one of those characters.
It does. I mean, it does make the fact. I mean, he saved his life like at least twice. So I
Hmm.
mean that you got to
Yeah,
factor that in as well. That does
yeah,
change things, like the
yeah,
person, rescues you at their own peril. So
yeah. I think if his
Okay,
attitude didn't
so
change, then I would that'd be a negative for Denji, our main character.
eh,
I'd start to not like him as much.
yeah, it's like, why are you just being a jerk to this guy that loves you? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pluses to this movie. Let's see if we can kind of dive into some of the negatives or things that you thought could have been improved or things that you just didn't like. Uh, I'll let you go first.
I gotta, I guess, briefly go back to the animation. I think in the desire to make it really dynamic, it needed more fleshed out animation for a number of scenes and sequences. Now it's a personal preference kind of a thing, but there's a good there were a good number of action scenes that I felt like were almost yeah, slideshows is the wrong word. They're just too chaotic. Like I was like trying to track what was happening. Like a character would be like close up and then far away what felt like in the next like frame and then like on the other side of the screen like in like just a couple other frames. Like it was more egregious than um what would it be? I don't know what it's more egregious. It just was frustrating to watch sometimes. Were all of the drawings good and entertaining? Yeah, but I think the problem is one of the one of the key flaws or one of the key pitfalls in filmmaking and animation and TV presentation is like you don't want to disconnect your audience from the experience. And for me, like it getting so choppy and sporadic looking, like kicked me out of the experience, made me aware of that, brought more attention to them like trying really hard to make something dynamic, but then going too far. I wanted to just be able to like appreciate the film, understand, watch the animation, understand the story, and not have like, oh wow, this is like a little bit hard to track, a little bit hard to visually understand.
Yeah.
And that I, I don't I have no idea like what all the reasons were. It could have been that they were trying to do too much in a scene, trying to make it like overly dynamic, felt the pressure of like a number of other animated projects that have really tried to push things quite a bit into like what Austin's talking about, like Sakuga type of animation style. Um, and no matter what, like the story, the characters is key, and that is true even in action scenes. So action scenes wind up serving for like interest and fun, and they do technically like move the story along even on a level under the superficial fights, if that is being depicted in a way that is popping the audience out of the film, at least for me, then something is not happening correct.
Okay. Just a little point of clarification or context. The term sakuga, it refers to scenes in an anime movie or an episode where the animation is like peak detail. It is like really, really well done animation. And it's the kind of thing that gets clipped for YouTube clips, for reels. Oh, you gotta watch this episode, man. Luffy goes gear 5 and oh my gosh, and blah 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 blah. Those would be examples of Sakuga.
Yeah,
a big, a big, powerful finishing attack, you know, that's really, really well animated, or a fight scene that's really, really well animated.
yeah.
That's Sakuga.
It's
That's
often
so when
stuff
we say
that's
Sakuga,
probably animated like on one, so it's like a brand new frame for every 24 frames shown in a second. Um, that makes an
okay, yeah.
animation. So it like typically is like more fluid and more animated than like your average moment in a
Okay,
series.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you watch a scene, a Sakuga scene, you get the feeling like, oh wow, like 3/4 of the budget for this episode went to just this scene,
Yeah.
getting this scene right.
Yeah.
It gives you that impression. Or that's why the previous 3 episodes had really kinda janky animation because they were working up to this scene that they really wanted to animate really, really well.
Yeah.
That's what Sakuga is.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything else? What else anything else that you didn't like or thought was kinda weak?
So connected to one of the things that's kind of cool about the series, the demons, their power and how powerful they are is based off of how like feared whatever their power is based off of. So there's a big, climactic, I'm sure a series climactic villain that they're building up to the gun devil. Um
Yeah.
it's extremely powerful and it's responsible for Aki's family having been, wiped off the planet. Because guns are highly feared in the world. Same thing is like I guess true for what what's her name? I'm forgetting it right now. The Blood Devil character. I'm not sure.
Power?
Like yeah, power. I'm not sure in what way like people are fearing blood specifically, but how whatever way it is enables her to be as strong as she is. So in theory, like the more you can get somewhat the collective civilization to fear something, the more powerful its related devil would become. So with this movie, it's bombs, explosives. So the villain that we have in the film, and we are fully in spoilers here, so lo and behold, Reze is one of the devils. Reze is working for the gun devil, wanting to get Denji's heart. She does win over his heart, but then tries to literally steal his heart for the gun devil. Not sure specifically why. They don't, fully go into detail about that. They don't do a whole like Demon Slayer flashback kind of situation where we now understand the gun devil needs the heart because her family was, is being held by the gun devil or something. Don't fully know why. She's just one of his partners, and you know, it's a it's unfair to judge in a way, but the explosions in here definitely do damage quite a bit. They actually, wipe some people away. Sometimes though, they don't do nearly as much as like I would expect to, and that's just creative license. I find it kind of bizarre that the explosive devil is like not as is less powerful than the gun devil. It's not a flaw for the movie or anything like that, but there are a few times where there are characters that the second the bomb devil shows up are just should just be dead. Like honestly,
W
Aki
Wait
should
till you see the
just be dead.
atomic bomb devil,
Oh,
the
there we go.
hydrogen bomb devil,
I know, right?
the
Yeah.
dirty bomb devil,
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, is there a radiation devil somewhere in the series? Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
electromagnetic pulse devil.
Uh-huh. The paper cut devil. Um
Oh,
that devil's probably really strong. You know what? No one likes those paper cuts.
the Taylor Swift Eras Tour devil.
Man.
Alright, that's taking it
Fun,
too far.
fun,
I
fun, fun, fun fact.
it's been fun, and then it just took
Literally,
apologize. I apologize.
he
Ladies and gentlemen,
apologizes.
yeah, I mean, we were having fun, and then, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm sorry, Kelsey brothers. You can re-invite us back on your podcast. We'll probably come to it. Um,
yeah.
and I won't reject that
Fun, and then
wedding
it got
invitation this
serious.
time.
It hit too close to home, and yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
I disavow that statement.
Fun fact
Let's keep.
about Taylor Swift and her in fearing things
Oh dear
literally
God!
with her.
Oh, this is my nightmare.
So
Um,
a couple years ago, I went to Seattle. It was after Taylor Swift wound up having her concert up there in whatever I think it's like the soccer stadium or something they have. Might be maybe the football stadium.
wow, what was the
So
death count?
look, brother, it almost could have been something because literally her crowd screamed so loud at several different points that the sound created a shockwave that bounced off the roof of the stadium and actually moved the Richter scale. Like they created mini earthquakes during that concert performance. So like I don't know, man. She could have her own devil, you know. Don't
Like, imagine the musical equivalent to like saltine cracker paste out of a tube, creating that much noise. Like, I don't even know that's possible.
Oh dang! Oh
Like,
dang! I thought we weren't taking shots. Uh oh.
anyway, listen. All I'm trying to say is that like in a civilized society, elevator music stays in the elevator. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Oh
All
yeah,
right,
like that music that was playing during the pool scene. Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah, perfect segue back into
full
this.
sing.
Yeah. So, funnily enough, not funnily enough. Okay, let's get into what we thought about like the main part of the story. Denji's relationship with Reze. Did that work from you? Did that work for you? I know we're in the negatives, but like, yeah, let's just explore. Did that main arc, that main conflict, emotional beat work
Yeah.
from
So
relationship into demon?
so for me going into the movie, understanding that it's got a certain runtime and it's got to complete the arc has to be completed.
Mm-hmm.
And so this relationship was going to form, take shape somehow,
Yeah,
some way
yeah.
within the time constraints of this movie. So to the degree that it happened as quickly as it did or as slowly as it did, it didn't bother me. It's not like they were confessing love or anything. They were just having like moments of kind of tender moments and stuff. And then she kind of shows her hand. Reze is the bomb devil or whatever. I mean, by the time they make out during the fireworks and she bites his tongue off, like, all right, that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much she kind of played her hand.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I mean, to answer your question, it didn't bother me because I was expecting a relationship to take form within, probably within a half an hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you'd have the rest of the movie to resolve it. So that didn't bother me. I
Yeah.
wouldn't put that in negatives. Once I get to my review or
Yeah.
once I get to my negatives, that's not going to be part of it because that didn't really bother me. Now, if
Yeah.
this was part of a trilogy, like say like Mugen Castle or Infinity Castle, and this just happened so quickly, like oh man, you got 3 movies, flesh it out a little bit, stretch it out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be in such a rush. But given that this is a fully contained movie and a fully contained arc, or I should say a fully contained arc within a fully contained movie, then yeah, it's fine. That didn't bother me. And I was able to like, yeah, I can see this happening. I can see him quickly developing feelings for an attractive girl that's giving him play, like it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not really a simp. He kind of says what he likes and doesn't like. Okay, I wasn't gonna get into any of this, but now it just comes to me like
Go at it.
Dingy is Dingy is he is like he's just kind of like goofball maxing to
Mm-hmm.
use a modern term.
Mm-hmm.
He just is who he is. He doesn't pretend to like things he doesn't like. He is what he's about, and there's something about that that makes him endearing.
Mm-hmm.
And in the context of this movie, uh, yeah, I could see how a woman would be attracted to him because he's being sincerely authentic. He's
Mm-hmm.
just being who he is.
Yeah.
It's not even so much that he's confident per se. He's just sincere and honest. And that in and of itself, the willingness to be sincere and honest is in it of itself a form of confidence.
It really is. Yeah.
Confidence that many, if not most women find endearing and attractive. It isn't necessarily about being a jerk or about being a bad boy or about being this, that, da, 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 a red pill, da, 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 manosphere, da, 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 da. It's not necessarily about that. It's just being genuine and authentic and willing to be yourself and just kind of let the dice fall as they may. And there's something about that that just from a storytelling perspective allows the story to just kind of progress at a good pace. And so again, this is going to like the positives of Chainsaw Man in general.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Yeah. Okay. I see it.
so so, so
I agree
all
with what you're
that to
saying.
say, all that to say, yeah, I think the relationship between Denji and Reze, it worked for me. It was fine. Uh, yeah,
Totally. Totally. Yeah.
very roundabout way of answering the
So
question.
I
And
wasn't. Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. I think you answered it
yeah,
well. I don't. I wasn't trying to bring up the question of what you thought about this arc to like say it was a negative.
sure.
Um, but it did make me reflect on the movie a little bit and think that you might be a bit disappointed, and it's actually a little bit disappointing that Denji hardly spends time with either Power or Aki during this film, but it's understandable he can't be everywhere, all times. So the fact that Reze like is such an important character, his time is like predominantly given to her in the film, which fine, which makes sense, which is fine. But it is a little bit disappointing if you wanted to like have more time with him growing with the other side characters. Potentially, even especially, I mean, Power's barely in the film. I feel like, but
Yeah,
Aki, like because of what he's going through and how he's relating with Angel, Devil Angel or whatever. It's actually kind of sad he's not spending time with him. They're not spending time together, but I'm sure that will happen in the next arc. Um,
yeah,
so I think for that reason as well, this does work as a movie because it's almost like he's lifted from his main dynamics and character dynamics and group and like just put into a solo unit with Reze, which look is potentially realistic. We all know that friend and potentially are that friend that disappear from our friend groups when we're in a relationship, you know.
gone,
A magical act, yeah,
gone through
vanishing.
the eventual heartbreak, and then they come crawling back. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, Denji was very much Super Mario Brothers 2 into this movie. For all the Gen Z, Gen Alpha Disney kids that are watching this, first of all, welcome. Super Mario Brothers, the games on the Nintendo Entertainment System back in the 80s and early 90s, there was three Super Mario Brothers games. The original Super Mario Brothers 2, and the iconic legendary Super Mario Brothers 3. I mean, the first one, I mean, they're all like the first one is iconic. The second one is a vast departure, um, because the original Super Mario Brothers 2 was way too difficult for an American audience. So they took a game, some like Arabian Nights kind of game, and they just like put on all the Mario Brothers graphics
Yeah,
and
yeah.
put it into Super Mario Brothers 2. It is a radically different game than the other two, the first and the third installment. And
Mhm.
so that's the context reference when I say Super Mario Brothers 2, because Denji is not in the team element, minus his date with Makima. He is with Reze and this other character that we didn't see that much in the first season, the shark guy. Okay, so
So
summing up, any
by
stuff that
the
you did
ending,
like,
one of my last negatives,
yeah,
I think if the movie had ended differently, it would be a much more significant negative. But yes, yeah, Dingy, yeah, I mean, it fits for him because he doesn't like fully care about anybody else in the world in a way. Like he kind of does, but kind of really doesn't.
yeah,
He lets so he winds up beating Reze, and then is rescued because he basically grabs onto Reze, drowns him and her together or whatever. Beam rescues them, and in that moment, once they both wake up, he has a little bit of dialogue with her and lets her go. There's a little bit something wrong for me with him letting her go after like all that she's done. Like I think they rationalize it fine enough for the character Denji. And I think what happens to her by the end, she does more or less get, the what is coming to her. But it's not. It's yeah. When you really think about it on like a moral or kind of level, it's not. It's not. It's not great morals that they're putting forward with
And that is
this.
actually an example of him kinda simping towards the end.
Yeah.
Energy
hmm
does kinda show.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
there's that.
but look, I understand. You might be like, oh well, I don't. I'm not watching this for morality. It's not completely true. Like the author is very much trying to say something specifically surrounding like the gun devil. I'm sure by the end of the series, like it's less it's like not surface level, but I think it's very much a social commentary. Um, so if you're gonna make a whole series that's like a social commentary on a level, maybe a little irresponsible to some degree. That said, I will give him the fact that he does have her not escape and is captured or beaten basically. Um, so he's not like completely writing. Oh, this character is allowed to do anything and everything to the world. She's just a wild beast in a way. So we don't hold her to the same sort of moral standards as like humans. But yeah, there's little something awkward there for me. That said,
Okay.
yeah, most everything's wind up working. I did, I know I keep ping ponging back and forth. I did very much like his date with Makina and then his date with Reze. Like as far as like the like romantic element, relationship element of this movie, it does it effectively. Um, and yeah,
Yeah.
the betrayal during the Hanabi scene is deep, and I think they do enough to make you wonder if there really was something there between the two of them.
Right, it's implied in the movie, especially at the very end, that, she's acting like she doesn't like him, but then she was heading back to the cafe. So,
Mhm.
she wasn't doing that arbitrarily. And
Which,
actually, I
as a
know
fun little detail, since we since we just reviewed Roofman last week, it's a
yeah.
fun little like similarity between the two films.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Uh huh.
Opens the door and the latch key is like tuk, 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 yeah. I picked up on that as well.
They
I know we're
both
talking
could
about
have
things
just
like
disappeared and been safe,
right,
just went their own way and had their lives, but they decided to go back.
right, right, and that's what caused their downfall. Okay, so I know we're talking about things we didn't like. Let me go back quickly, say something about that something I did like.
Yeah.
I'll mention it briefly, and then I think I'll talk about the things that I didn't like or things that distracted me.
Okay.
So when the first season came out of Chainsaw Man, there was a lot of discussion about the use of CGI in place of 2D animation, hand drawn animation. There were a lot of people that saw the animation in the first couple episodes of Chainsaw Man, and some people were decrying the use of CGI in favor of hand drawn 2D animation, which they view as better and more pure and whatever. And so there was a kind of an ongoing conversation about that with respect to the first season. With respect to this movie, the usage of CGI animation, I feel that it was kept to a minimum.
Hmm.
Really kept to a minimum. There was the car chase scene, the car was 3D animated, but not to but it was done very tastefully, or tastefully is the wrong way. It was done effectively. It was skillfully done. It didn't draw too much attention to itself unless you were really, really paying attention to it. And I tend to lock on and pay attention to those things because it fascinates me and interests me. And so I would say that to people that thought that that Chainsaw Man is just using too much CG, I didn't get that sense at all watching this film. So if that's something that some folks were worried about because some of those folks were complaining about it in the first season, I think a lot of your concerns are going to be relieved in this movie.
Yeah, they've gotten better at truly like compositing it together with the 2D. I think you still can tell that like Chainsaw Man in transformation his head and maybe even and Bomb's head are CG because they're like very
That's what I'm
complex.
thinking.
But
Yeah,
it's composited I think pretty well most of the time.
yeah. Okay, so having said that, going into my negatives. Okay, so I alluded to this at the beginning. This is a production primarily by Mappa. Mappa also is the primary production unit behind Jujutsu Kaisen. And although the color palettes for each series is unique to its own, they share a lot of similarities. They tend to have darker uh, pastel, kind of like neon pastel, but muted or darker color schemes.
You talking about
And
for Jujutsu?
I'm talking about for both.
Hmm.
You know, they have brighter scenes and then they have their darker scenes, right? And then they have a lot of in between scenes. And so, like in Jujutsu Kaisen, a lot of those in between scenes would be like, I don't know, like the subway scenes, right? Where it's like the subway's lit, but there's a lot of dark corridors and things like that. And so, my biggest frustration with the movie, I don't even know if it's a frustration, but, and you can apply this to the first season of Chainsaw Man as well. Sometimes I forget which one I'm watching.
Uh
The stories have
yeah.
enough similarities between them.
Hmm.
uh, The power scheme, the structure, there's just enough points of similarity
Hmm.
between them that like I just kind of like I forget which one I'm watching sometimes. They're too similar to me. They're too closely connected. And the whole big fight between Chainsaw Man and Bomb Girl, whatever her name is, to me it was like the Shinjuku incident, final third season of Jujutsu Kaisen between what's Sukuina? What's the name of the
I
demon in
to be
particular?
honest, I haven't seen very much of Jujutsu Kaisen. I've
Okay.
only seen the movie prequel and at Universal did like a Jujutsu Kaisen like
Yeah. Okay.
experience. Hmm.
So, tonally and thematically, I find them to be very similar. And so when I'm watching that big action scene, I'm like, yeah, this is really cool, but I feel like I've already seen this before because I watched the last season of Jujutsu Kaisen. A lot of, getting flown, getting thrown through skyscraper glass windows, a lot of that stuff, buildings crashing, falling, like something that anime does, which I actually really like. I get a kick out of it.
Yeah,
So like you see little pops, and then there's a
a
second delay, and
delay.
then
Yeah.
there's a lot of that in this movie. Um,
Hmm.
and again, it just felt so much like that last season of Jujutsu Kaisen that for me, it's hard to disentangle them and to
Yeah.
distinguish them together.
Mm.
Also, what has become kind of trendy and in vogue in anime recently, this is true. This has been true for a couple of years, but like going back as far as like certain episodes of Naruto Shippuden, particularly the Pain versus Naruto episodes. You've seen this in more recent episodes of One Piece, and you saw it in this movie as well. It's the whole scratchy, squiggly, dirty animation style. It's a way to convey chaos and motion at the same time. And
Yeah, they used it in the
while,
climactic fight moment of this movie.
and while I believe that that style has its usages in certain anime, to me, I'm starting to put it in the same category as early 2000s uh, I Am Legend, the Bourne sequels, shaky
Oh,
cam,
the shaky cam, yeah.
well, the shaky cam that nobody asked for, but everybody got. The Saving Private Ryan opening D-Day, storming the beach of Normandy, that whole thing where you're just getting motion sickness watching the action scene. This is kind of one anime equivalent of that. It's just like this really scratchy, ugly kind of squishy animation that I just don't like,
Yeah.
and it morphs and deforms the characters to where they don't even look like the characters either from the manga or from the anime. I don't like that.
Yeah.
There are only specific times where I feel like it's useful or helpful. I mean, it's the same thing that they're doing it in One Piece as well, and I don't like it in One Piece. Uh, it's that whole aesthetic. Um, so they used it. They didn't use it too much. They didn't go overboard with it in this, but it's just they had it in there. I was like, oh, they're doing that thing. Um,
Yeah, I could see it being
so
personal taste, just like with shaky cam. There are films that employ it well and employ it sparingly and use it to like highlight something, and then there are other films that don't do it well and overuse it, and it winds up being a problem. You just may not like the style overall. Like it just may have lived its moment. Like with Bullet
yeah,
Time, in the Matrix. Like
yeah.
at a certain point, we needed to move past Bullet Time.
Well, The Matrix did Bullet Time great, and
No,
then
I'm saying the Matrix did
other
it great, but
movies,
since then, like if we
other
if we had
movies
Bullet
have
Time
shown
and
it great.
everything since then,
Yeah,
then we would get tired of it.
yeah. So that's part of it. Um, I didn't think about what you were saying with respect to like the B characters not getting that much time. Um, they kind of did as their story arcs merged with Dingy's, and they were kind of in the same place at the same time, but they were kind of relegated to the sidelines again. There was a scene where Aki grabs the angel that's being
Excuse,
like
yeah.
sucked into a vortex. So,
Mhm.
what did that cost me? It cost you about 2 years of your life.
I think you said
Excuse
two
me, 2
months.
months.
2
I'm
months,
sorry,
yeah.
2 months. I meant 2 months. So, it's established in the first season that he made some kinda deal with his devil, his stand, for those of you who are,
Mhm.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
Yeah, it's like
and it
the
cost him a
future
big
one,
chunk of
so
money.
he can have the ability to see a little bit into the future.
He's got
Which oh
3
yeah,
Tomoe touring gun future sight,
exactly.
basically.
Yeah. Which reminded me when I was talking about my negatives, I didn't finish one half thing. Aki should be dead going up against Bond Devil, but they specifically gave him that future ability so that he can like place himself in the right places to avoid the explosions. That said, any bomb goes off anywhere within 20 feet of a human's head, like you're most likely
Right.
messed up.
So, I actually that didn't bother me. I kinda liked it for the same reason I liked, uh, Tanjiro versus Asaka, what was his name? The
Akaza, Akaza.
Akaza? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in the Demon Slayer movie,
Yeah,
because, like, it wasn't future sight, but it was just, like, kinda reading movements and moving just in the nick of time. Because in Demon Slayer, like, if any one of those punches had landed,
yeah,
Tanjiro had a big hole in his body,
yeah.
and he's a goner on sight. He's dead.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's what made that fight scene, like, the stakes were, like, really, really high. Like, he's gotta figure this out so that he just so that he doesn't die, right? So I kinda got the same vibe from that scene where Aki was going up against her, and so for that reason, like, I appreciated it. It didn't bother
Yeah.
me. Um,
Yeah, I
uh,
got to be
uh,
honest. I think it works a lot better within Demon Slayer because you have a little bit of setup for it.
yeah,
That
I think so
said, it
too.
is it is a little bit of a pull even there, where he's given Ultra Instinct at the right moment. And in this one, he literally does like see into the future like a few seconds, so
Right.
he can place
I
himself.
don't know.
And then he says
So,
he needs to have
uh
like perfect reaction. I forgot what he called it. Perfect.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta
something.
respond to
Yeah,
a person. So plot armor's got a plot armor. So, like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
that's
It's fine.
fair. Um, what was the shark character? That was his name?
Beam.
Shark Beam. I thought that using him as like a horse, I feel like there could have been a more fun or more creative way of using him. It did result in some slightly comedic moments,
Mhm.
some goofy banter between him and Dingy.
Yeah.
But
It was an awesome bonding moment for them too. Like, yeah, it did overstay its welcome a little bit at the beginning when they were trying to make it really funny. it didn't fully
Yeah,
land for me when he's like, not this is not what I thought. Like it didn't fully land for me. It's fine. It's anime humor. It'll work for some people tremendously, and other
yeah,
people it won't work. That said, like I did think that, like, this actually does fall in line with Denji as a character. Like he's supposed to use the chains to, like, I don't know, Spider-Man around. It's potentially better than doing that, but then he's so dumb that he just winds up doing this. But it's kind of more fun ultimately.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I was like, I wish Beam had been used more in a more clever way to fight the big uh
Typhoon
whirlpool
Devil.
typhoon devil guy
Hmm.
who kind of reminded me of the baby from Spirited Away
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
the baby from, was it Akira? The big kind of
Oh
like
yeah. Yep. Hmm.
when he gets Kaneda, Tetsuo Kaneda, he gets kind of reminded me of that.
Hmm.
Um yeah. So they had some scenes where like the serial killer, he's talking to the demon and he's killing the one lady and he's trying to kill Reze, which ends up backfiring. Um it wasn't a negative that it was in the movie, but I don't know what greater point it had. I don't know.
It was just one of those classic narrative devices where you think the character is in danger, but then turns out, like, no, they're the more dangerous one because Reze winds up killing him on the rooftop. It
Right.
it did. So the tension was there for me. That said, I also knew that something was up with Reze from the beginning.
I, I
Uh,
assumed something was up with her
yeah,
just because.
yeah, which I actually do give the movie some credit for. Like, most awkward interaction where they're introduced to each other inside the phone booth. Why there's phone booths in Japan there, I don't know. I didn't even think about that, but hell no. This is set in the
They still have
'90s, let's
'em.
say.
They're like Wi-Fi hotspots now.
Okay,
They're Wi-Fi
okay,
hotspots. Yeah.
yeah, uh, yeah, yeah. All I was have to say is the movie won me over, even though it was obvious from the beginning when she came into the phone booth something was up. But yeah, he was just to, like, build up the tension of, like, oh, maybe she is actually just a normal girl, and then they reveal that it's not the case. But I could
Yeah.
see it. I could see it being you know potentially a waste of time.
Yeah, other than that, I feel like her power, like the thing is very much Colonel Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist. His power very similar, like
Yeah,
which is a super cool power, by the way.
yeah.
But as the way it was implemented, I mean, she had like a bunch of torpedoes and stuff. So that was cool. Overall, I think she was a fun character. Uh, yeah,
Small
I'm totally
aside on that. Uh, give a lot of credit to the animators. That's a whole lot of explosions for them to have to handle in a in a project.
yeah. The
Yeah.
other thing that I liked and didn't like, so I like it when a movie is not afraid to kill off cool characters just because they're cool or they're endearing or they're engaging. So Aki's colleagues from the other training facility
Mhm.
that all got bodied when Reze showed up and she walked out with both of their heads and stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll see more from that character. Nope. We're gonna go full
Mhm.
Game of Thrones on these characters. They're getting no mercy.
Mhm.
So I like that, but I was like, oh, I kind of didn't like it because like I was hoping that that guy would be strong enough. He'd be more of like a Kakashi character that he would have something up his sleeve to kind of like survive it. But it wasn't looking good when he was missing an arm after like a quick bout with you know the bomber girl. And so, what are you gonna do? But I don't even know if that counts as a negative. I was just hoping to see more of that character because he looked like a cool character. The one with the scar and the scar on his face.
Mhm.
He seemed like a cool character. He seemed like he had a cool power, but or he also had that fox power, where Fox comes and like eats a bit
Oh
of
yeah, he
cheese.
had made a deal as well. Mhm.
Yeah. So all of that's cool. I would have liked to have seen more people and more powers and more stuff, but
That's a lot. That's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's asking for a
Then it
lot.
stops, yeah,
Mm.
being possible in a movie.
Yeah, and like this was partially like a growth arc for Denji, like a personal growth arc. Yeah, I don't like how he kind of simps at the end and just forgives her, even though there's something very shonen about that, like Goku forgives, Tanjiro forgives,
Yeah,
Naruto
that's
forgives,
100% the
Luffy
yeah.
forgives.
Mhm. They say they
Um,
yeah, they recognize something, in the
I see
enemy
the
that,
good in you, blah
yeah,
blah blah,
yeah.
and that may be true, but it's definitely super tropey for this, for a series that isn't super tropey. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So
Yeah, like I said though, it really brings in some un almost uneasy questions about like the sense of justice that the author is trying to convey to the audience. Which actually,
yeah,
since we're here for a half second, let me correct myself. They did kind of do the Demon Slayer flashback. They didn't show it, but they explained it at the end of the movie that, oh, she was amongst a group of people, of kids that were captured and forced by the Soviet Union to become weapons, devil weapons. Which,
right,
sure, but again, uh, doesn't justify someone doing what they did.
right.
Yeah.
So one thing again, I keep going back to things that I actually did like. At the very end, where the angel devil, you get a glimpse of his power.
Mhm. Make it, yeah, one of
Sure.
the weapons he's made, yeah, or a couple of the weapons.
I don't know if it was just one weapon that he used a couple times or different weapons,
Might have
but
been.
he didn't he wasn't really exerting himself. Like this guy's serious business. Whatever he's about, he's serious business. And I mean, we already know Makima's serious business. She's probably I don't know enough about Chainsaw Man. I haven't read it all through it.
Mhm,
I kind of want to. I probably should, but yeah, that guy is gonna do something crazy later on. So
mhm.
I'm excited to see it because they didn't show you the whole movie, and then at the very end, to the one person to whom he has to obey
Yeah,
for whatever reason, Makima's got that kind of hold and pull on everybody for whatever reason.
yeah.
Dot dot dot.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure we're gonna find out she's made like deals with the
all
greatest
kinds.
devils in the world, or a bunch of devils, or something, or yeah,
Yeah,
or she's a fiend or somehow herself.
the
Yeah,
devil,
something's gonna happen.
the Kevlar vest devil. You know,
Yeah, I know, right? Uh huh.
you know. So yeah, so what was I gonna say? Yeah,
She's
he made
the dying single and alone devil.
yeah the single white female devil, the greatest. No, I'm
The
not going
most
there.
feared in the world. Yeah.
That's what
Mhm.
people say. Mhm. Anyway,
Yeah.
so um,
Look,
uh,
I was almost sad that they had her taken out like that easy from Angel, because Aki literally cut his life in half trying to prevent Angel from getting sucked up by Typhoon. I'm like, it made me think after, I'm like, oh dang. I guess maybe Angel just hates all humans like he says,
yeah.
and was
So
fine with
I
Aki letting his life get cut in half.
I actually think that the way they ended it was fine, but I think they missed an opportunity to be extra savage. Like allow them to go on, allow Dingy to have that date, and as she's walking out, they regulate and like white take her out right then and there, which then would create this complicated dynamic between Dingy and Makima. I really love you, but I'm kind of crushing this girl. I'm exploring that, but now even though I know she's a devil and I know you got to do what you got to do, that would have like put all kinds of like nuance and complication and
Yeah,
tension and drama. I thought that would have been like a crazy way to end that movie, or to end that arc.
it would have been. I think though Makima is a little too smart for that to happen. She doesn't want him questioning the situation like that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, there's reasons to not do it that way. Actually, I don't know. Again, if you've read through Chainsaw Man, you know what happens, then don't whatever. Don't take what I'm saying at face value because I haven't read it that far. But it appears that she actually has genuine feelings for him on some level and wants to interact with them genuinely, which, hence the date where they went on all these movies. They saw all these movies and they had points of commonality as to how they enjoyed or didn't enjoy the movies. So
Side note:
don't spoil it
she's a
for
much
me.
harsher critic on films than we are.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So yeah, I mean, in summary, I didn't like I don't know. I struggle to distinguish between Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man.
Okay.
And I don't like how like the season finale is so similar to the finale of this movie in terms of the action scenes. Is that a fair critique? Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to like old Disney movies where they reuse footage. Uh, if you go back and you look at like Robin Hood, you look at 101 Dalmatians. Oh, that's the same dancing footage. Oh, Little John the Bear and Robin Hood and Baloo from Jungle Book. Oh, that's the same. They're doing the same thing. I saw some montage compilation clips of that a couple years
Yeah.
ago. I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that Disney was doing that. I guess it makes sense for economic reasons,
Yeah.
but I
Cost
almost
saving
feel like you're,
techniques, time saving
yeah,
techniques.
sure. I almost feel like Mappa's doing the same thing with this movie and the last episode of season 3 of Jujutsu Kaisen. And so I'm like, I feel like I just kept feeling like I've already seen this before. It wasn't exactly the same, to be clear, but it was so similar. That kind of took me out of the movie. But that's my biggest critique of the movie.
Mm.
Other than that, it's a fun watch. For adults. Uh, in fairness, I missed the first minute of the movie. Okay, so normally the movie time starts at 5 o'clock, and then they have like 25 to 30 minutes of commercials and trailers. This movie apparently didn't have that many commercials and trailers. So when as I was walking in expecting to see more, come in at the end of a trailer or whatever, the movie was already playing. I'm like, oh snap. So I sat down and it was the apartment scene just before the opening credits. And I guess what Power kicked Dingy in the crotch or whatever, or they were trying to drag her out. There was a conversation that took place just before that I actually missed. Did you see that part?
I missed a little bit of that also. I came in during their uh anime music video credits.
Okay.
So yeah,
Oh,
look, guys, forgive me. I got a little
yeah.
one.
I timed it wrong, so my bad. Um, I did like the ending song. I'm a big fan of Utada Hikaru, and so she did a duet with some other Japanese male vocalist. I don't know, but yeah, I like that song. It was a nice song. That was a nice way to end the movie. And then the end credit scene was fun. Did you see the end credit scene?
Yeah, I did. What I'm trying to remind me
Power
what
comes
happened.
down to the cafe.
Oh, Power
Power
came
comes.
in. Yeah. Mhm.
She's like, "Oh, you got the flowers there for me," and he starts eating the flowers just like he did, which is a sin back to earlier in the movie.
Mhm.
And I thought that was a fitting in, and then it pans out. This kind of this cool pan out down the alleyway, and
Mhm.
that's the end of the movie. So he doesn't know what happened to his would be date. You know,
It's
she
not.
got
Mhm.
the ending kind of reminds me of another anime movie that I saw that is definitely not for children. It's called Kite. Um, I think the creator of Kite or the author or whatever just came out with a movie, a more recent movie,
Mm.
but it's a movie that it's a movie about assassins, like kind of kid assassins, and it kind of ends on an assassination at the end, kind of an unexpected assassination, and the main character's left waiting for this character that's never going to get there because they got assassinated. Spoiler for Kite. But yeah, uh, yeah. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. I had a good time. Um, I would have enjoyed the movie way more if I hadn't seen Jujutsu Kaisen. But,
Okay.
having said that, 'cause then I would have had nothing to compare it to, and then we're like, "Whoa, this is really cool." The guy I was sitting next to in the theater, he was like, "Oh my gosh," every time there was a big explosion, and so, he really enjoyed it. I'm glad for him. Uh, yeah.
Wait, you said he kicked the back of your seat?
No, no, he was right next
Oh,
to me.
oh,
He
oh,
was
he's actually
like, "Oh my gosh." He was like he was really
yeah,
impressed with the action scene, and so,
yeah,
hey, I was happy. I'm glad he was enjoying it. I
yeah,
enjoyed it too, but I didn't have the visceral reaction that he had.
yeah.
But when
Look,
people have visceral reactions,
it's
I'm
good.
always
Yeah,
for
it's
the most
good.
part, happy.
I did
Alright.
notice at one point in time one of the guys sitting next to me was crying a little bit during the movie, which is like, look, man, the movie touched you in that way. That's awesome. Um,
Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
dude was yeah, yeah. Mm. Reze, I'm just saying, Reze. I don't think she deserves your tears, but the fact that you had them, that's all right. It's in question enough that I could respect it. Same with Makima, you know, mm, you know. When they get to the end of that storyline, they wind up showing us if there was really something there or not. Yeah, it's probably
I'm
gonna be
surprised
earned.
there wasn't some, like, hashtag Team Makima, hashtag Team Reze, like, that was trending. Or maybe it did, and I'm just not paying attention because I don't follow the stuff like that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but this seems like that kinda movie would be ripe for that type of, fandom. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but that type of fandom might actually be outdated now, so I don't know, who knows?
maybe. All right.
But,
Well, you know what? Look, I think
yeah,
that brings me to the end of the things that I kind of want to talk about the film.
yeah, me too. I
Yeah,
think I said
man.
what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
This has been
So
our review of Chainsaw Man, the movie, Reze Arc. Thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified so that you can be notified for all of our latest live stream reviews. Is there anything you would like to say to sign us off, Josiah?
keep supporting anime films. Let's try to keep supporting good films in general. Yeah, y'all know the story. Y'all know the story. Go watch things you like. Have fun with it. Come here, talk to us if you want. Talk to us in the comments. We'll try to get back to you about with that. Thank you for joining us during this. Thank you Janelle for commenting, sharing about Beam. He truly was one of the best characters in the movie. Kind of steals the show. Surprisingly, was not killed by a bomb. I was actually I was kind of sad when Bomb Devil was like blowing him up like with the million hits, and he was like his body was like swelling up with the explosions. I was sad. I thought he was gonna die, but the fact that he didn't die, did make me happy. Um,
That's kind of cool. She was like,
yeah,
yeah, but he still
that's a
survived
good
that.
shonen anime throwback right there.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was done well. It was done well. Sometimes it's not done well. I think that was done well. Um,
Yeah,
oh,
the
okay.
whole
And
fifth.
Janelle's telling us that we finished before the Dodger game. Wow. Even though we've got an hour and a half, and I think we started when the Dodger game was like in the fifth or sixth inning, we're
So
finishing
how
before
about
the
we go
Dodgers
back to
game.
the beginning? Let's just go back to the beginning. Let's just talk about.
Yeah,
Let's just review
let's
the movie
restart.
again.
Let's restart. No, we need to go longer than the Dodger game.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
let me get to the bottom of the ninth.
In fact, we need to go much longer than the runtime of the movie. I don't remember what the runtime of the movie was, but we're an hour and a half.
Scene by scene.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember all the scenes, but
Yeah. One day
I-
we'll do something like that. Maybe one day we'll do a watch along with you
commentary.
guys.
Yeah,
Commentary.
we'll do commentary. I think I got a couple good commentary tracks in me for some movies. So,
Hmm.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been our review. God bless you guys. Thank you for joining us. Next week, what are we likely to watch next week?
I was trying to check that out, and what is good next week? I actually don't know. I was looking. Was the end of October, beginning of November? Maybe shout out to us, tell us something really cool. Like I don't know if there's anything fantastic.
We
Like
can. So this weekend, I ended up watching One Battle After Another, and I'd be totally down to talk about that. I think there's a lot of interesting things to discuss in that
oh
movie.
Begonia, that's the next Emma Stone
Oh
movie
man,
with Lacrimus
that's like
Phantom.
Pretty Things. Man, I don't. Oh man, it's the
Wait,
same
what is it?
director of Pretty Beautiful
Poor
Pretty
Things.
Thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not. I'm really not for it. I'm really not for it. Look,
Uh,
you got y'all can hate us if you want it. If we, I don't know. He lost
that
me
was
at Poor
never a
Things,
fun
to be
watch.
honest. Yeah, there's a movie called Violent Ends. I have not looked at the trailer.
I don't know, man. Again, I saw the trailer for Begonia. I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
I
we will
don't
take a
know, man.
look and we'll let you guys know. Maybe we'll do another poll, or maybe we'll just wind up doing one battle after another. Finally, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll let you guys know.
I mean, do you want to watch do you want to watch Begonia? Like,
I
uh,
honestly don't want to see anything ever from that director.
yeah,
I
it's not.
almost don't even want to see the trailer. Like, look, call me out for being a hater. Poor Things for me was that disappointing.
Poor Things was it was gross, dude. It was gonorrhea and it was syphilis. It was gross, bro. I don't want.
Oh man, there was some good performances. Look, Willem, I think Emma does acted tried very very hard. I don't know that it deserved. Look, I don't want to cry a different movie at this moment. Y'all just gotta know I ain't rocking with them. Maybe I'll check out a trailer, but I just kind of don't want to.
I just feel like it's
Uh,
gonna be gross, and I don't want to be grossed out. Like,
you
I
saying
just
that
don't.
makes me not even want to see the trailer. So look, we're gonna watch something else, guys.
I feel like this guy is trying really hard to be like art housey. Like just like the type font on the begonia. It's like, uh, it has an air of pretentiousness to it, and
Yeah,
yeah, Poor Thing really kind of like soured me on anything that this guy has coming down the pipeline. So I'm like, I feel like this is going to be a grueling, kind of a gross watch, and I just kind of would not rather. I kind of would rather not put myself through that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So I'll
yeah.
say, since you're describing it as gross, maybe I'll check out the trailer. But yeah, just purely
The
based
trailer
on
itself isn't
how
particularly gross. It's the
no, it's not.
trailers. I just know who it comes from, so I'm like, ugh.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe we'll review one battle after another, or if there's another film on that list, I might look at the Violent Ends trailer, see what that's like. I've said this a million times. We'll let you know. And yeah, show back up
Is
Monday 8.
Good Fortune be a movie I should go see worth reviewing?
Man, we're really dragging out this ending, but that's okay. I'm
Yeah,
uh, I'm I want to see Good Fortune, but I also am currently disappointed in Aziz Ansari.
like personally, or just like his projects he's done
Personally, personally, for some of his choices he's been made publicly recently. Yeah,
recently. Recently. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
yeah,
Okay, so listen, folks, we'll let you know what we settle on. If there happens to be like a good anime movie that pops in, we might just see that instead.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm totally down to do one battle after another.
Okay,
I think that's a movie worth reviewing. So
yeah.
till then,
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen,
Janelle actually said it is the top of the 12th in the Dodgers game. It might be bottom of the 12th now or top of the 13th even. We'll find out. Anyways, Austin, it was great talking to you about this movie. Thanks
yep,
for coming along, guys. See you next Monday.
yep. We've been the Super Cinema
Peace.
Bros. We'll catch you in the next live stream. God bless.